Alright, so today is November 5th. So, one of the interesting things that Banan talked about the other day was to think about not a sales funnel for your prospects, but to think about what your prospects' thought process will be as they go into your program. So there's our prospect right there. He's unhappy at work. And so what we did is we put together this big, huge, nice little kind of flowcharty diagram thingy about how they're going to go through their thought process. So for us, our prospects, we think the first thing that they're going to be doing is sitting bored at work or bored inside their classes thinking, wow, I'm really tired with the regular real world stuff and I want to do something kind of fun and cool and different. And the other thing that they know is that at the beginning of their training, they have a connection already with the outdoors. So they've been camping, and that's when they feel free, or they go mountain biking, or they go rock climbing, or whatever that is for them. They have a special connection with being outside and the freedom that comes with being outdoors. And so what do? They say, oh, I'm going to go Google mountain guide school, or mountain guide training, or rock climbing training, or how to become a mountain guide. But they're going to go just start looking into it thinking, that sounds like fun, even if it is a bit of a lark. So next we have our sad little pending storm cloud of all the things like, oh, here's some mountain guide stuff. Here's all of the things that I can just think of off the top of my head that might be bad about mountain guiding. So things like, your parents think you're an idiot for skipping college and trying to become a mountain guide instead, or your friends think, well, that's not a real job. They're going to ask about, okay, how do I support a wife, or how do I have a mortgage, or how do I have a regular life? I don't want to have to live in the back of a van and be a hobo for the rest of my life. Some more things thinking about, this is, nothing but a young man's game. If I'm not 22 and super fit, I could never do this because, I'm 28, or I'm 30, or I'm a girl, or I'm 16. And the last thing that we have on there is just, they want the ability to still have the trappings of a good, normal life. So, for me, this is things like having a dog, having, some time to hang out with my wife, having friends, at all. And so, people think, oh, I'm in the mountains all the time. I'm not going to have any of this. Like I said, I'll be in a van like a hobo. So after that, the next things that they're thinking about are the practicalities of, kind of escaping the herd, which is why we have a cow here. So things like the practicalities are, do I have enough experience to even begin a mountain guide training program? I've only been rock climbing for 2 years, or I've been camping, 20 times. So, do I even have enough experience to start? What do I need to do in order to get into any program at all? What kind of training, what kind of certifications exist? So we'll talk about that. The next thing we have here, this is our snow meat cleaver, which was going to be a snow saw, but we wanted some more space. So now a student will understand that yes, it is possible to get into a program, but they don't understand how mountain guiding works. So this is where we need to give them an education about the system of training that exists worldwide. So things like, what kind of certifications exist? What are the requirements of a job? To liken it to being a plumber, what kind of plumbing certifications do I need to have? What kind of apprenticeship? What kind of training, etc. So that's what we talk about here in our, our doing phase. So now they've learned what needs to happen, and we get to our next thing here, which is our train. So this is enough about you, let's talk about me. And we're actually still talking about them and kind of framing it in their eyes, so it's not really about me at all. So the first thing that we're talking about here at our last car is, providing them with the training, the experience, the contacts, and the certifications that they need in order to get a job in the industry. So that's part of it is we are going to give you those things. This is what you actually need in order to actually get a job, which is what you learned here, which is what you thought about, needing here, which is what you were worried about here. So we're going to do that. Along with that, the other thing that they're going to need quite strongly is permission to pursue this. So, they're all the way back down here at our storm cloud, or all the way back over here bored in their job. But getting over this is a pretty big hump. You're imagining, going from being a lawyer or an accountant or an economist or an investment banker to becoming a mountain guide. What you really need is, okay, I'm convinced that this sounds really cool and fun, but I still need kind of permission to know that this is okay. So we liken that to the old Indiana Jones Last Crusade. Leap of faith. Only in the leap from the lion's head will he prove his worth. And that's going to be towed along, all by our USP. And then the next thing that we need to do is we need to go back to kind of separating out the boring practical stuff, so separation from the herd. Yep, they're ready to take the leap of faith. Now let's get into the nuts and bolts of it. How much does it cost? What kind of loan programs exist? What are the logistics? When, where do I need to be? What kind of gear do I need to buy? What kind of insurance do I need? Etc., etc. And this will, going through this process, then, here's that blank spot of our training for somewhere between 2 and 4 years, which leads you to the magical happy land of a first job within the castle of the mountain guide industry. There you are, riding in on your course. So the final question we have here is, what does success look like? So that's what we think our students' thought progression looks like when they're thinking about a mountain guide training program. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at what do we need to do, or how can we, at each stage of this, provide that information to them so that they can go all the way from over here all the way down to the castle of a first job.